Hey everybody, this is Anthony Matheny from Killtech TV. I'm doing a video review today of the HD 5570 graphics card from Sapphire. It's a 1GB DDR3. I'm going to go ahead and go into some specs about this card here. I actually don't have it in the box. I've been testing it around a little bit, doing some diagnostics, things like that. Some of the things that it does have, it is DDR3 GDDR5 memory interface. It does have PCI Express 2.1 x16 bus interface. A good thing about this card is it does actually have DirectX 11 support. It supports shader model 5.0. It has Direct Compute 11, as I said. It also has programmable hardware tessellation. So you're going to be getting all the good tessellation features of DirectX 11. Of course, it supports OpenGL 3.2, 3.3, and 4.0. It also has image quality enhancement technology. It has up to 24 multi-sample and super sample anti-aliasing modes, and also adaptive anti-aliasing. Now, it also has a 16x16 angle dependent aniscopic texture filtering, and it is a 128-bit floating point HDR rendering card. Of course, with this card you're going to get Eyefinity, all of that. You can support up to 3 independent display controllers simultaneously with their own independent resolutions, refresh rates, color controls, and even video overlays. It does have display grouping also, so you're going to be able to combine all 3 of the monitors together if you choose to do so as one solid resolution. Of course, being a Sapphire 5 series card, 500 series or 5000, whichever you want to say, you are going to get ATI Crossfire X multi-GPU technology. It also does have ATI Vivo HD video and display technology. Now, overall, it's a pretty well-rounded card. The maximum resolution that it does support is 2560 by 1600. Of course, you get your standard HDMI, DVI, and VGA outputs, as most cheap low-end cards do support. It's going to run you about $75–50 bucks, depending on where you get it. If you get it on eBay, you might get lucky, get it for about $50. Overall, though, it is a pretty well-rounded card. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go into some other things that this offers. While it doesn't offer CADless control overclocking, it is locked in CADless. You can actually download MSI Afterburner and get an overclock on this card. You're really not going to notice much of a performance boost. But overall, you can overclock it up to 700 core clock and 900 memory clock. It does also have 400 Steam processors, so you're going to get a pretty nice, crisp video display with this graphics card. As far as I've noticed, the fan, it tends to run pretty cool. I'm actually at a standstill right now. I'm running 37°C as the temperature with the fan at 100. Keep in mind that is also overclocked. As I said, I've been testing it a little bit. But basically, overall performance-wise, to give you a few ideas of what this graphics card can do, it'll pull about anywhere from 15 to 25 frames, depending on your location in Crisis, on very high settings, no anti-aliasing, and a resolution of 1680 by 1050. So it's a pretty decent resolution that it plays at. I'm going to go ahead and show some videos here in a minute to show, overall the performance that it gets. I'm going to have fraps up so you can see the frame rate, everything like that, and get a nice idea of how this card performs. Okay, the first review I'm going to do is Modern Warfare 2. I have the screen refresh rate, as you can see, at 60 Hz. Sync every frame is on. Shadows, yes. Specular map, yes. Depth of field. Basically everything maxed out. Also running a resolution of 1680 by 1050. So pretty good resolution. Go ahead and make sure those apply. Get a little bit of screen flicker. Alright, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is resume the game that I have. Now you can see the frame rates in the corner. I'll go ahead and announce if they drop or anything like that. Try to give you an average idea of what you'll get. Alright, and we'll go ahead and let it load here. Might take a few seconds. If you can't see that, it does get 30 frames on the loading menu. Woo, not really a big bragging thing there.
That's a big negative. Send Bravo, be advised, running diagnostics to scan for malfunction. The sky's a clear station. You've got yourself some phantom dots.
Alright, and I'll go ahead and skip this part and get into some gameplay here. Alright, here, and I'm in game. Decided to go ahead and start it up here. Alright, now, keep in mind it's the same settings that you saw before. As of right now, not doing so good. Kind of hard to play. As you can see, I died. During that run, got about 35 average, which isn't too bad for max settings. Alright, again, this isn't about my gameplay. This is just purely, graphical wise. Give you an idea of how well the game plays. Getting a few drops down to 25 here and there. But overall, generally, it usually runs a pretty decent frame rate. Especially for a $50 budget card. So it's not bad, all things considered. But yeah, as you can see, this is a pretty demanding map in the game too. Demanding map, you got all the smoke and all that there. So it's a fairly well-rounded test of the card. Alright, and I'm going to go ahead and go into the next game here so you guys can get an idea. And that. Alright, so the next game I'm going to review is Left 4 Dead 2, that is, of course. The resolution's the same as always, 1680 by 1050. Advanced settings here. Go ahead and go into those. It's got 4 times anti-aliasing, filtering mode, anthoscopic 8 times. Basically everything else is maxed. Alright, and we'll go ahead and go into a game here. Alright, and again I'll pause during the loading rather. And be alright, so here we are in game. I just kind of randomly got thrown in here. This one that was already started. Not sure what weapons I got, but yeah. Alright. So basically here's the gist of it. Getting an average frame of 30. Sometimes it spikes all the way up to 60 depending on your location. See, like right here it goes 52, 53. Really all depends on where you're at. Usually it averages always around 30 though. So it's a pretty decent steady frame rate at that speed. Like there, I got 28 there real fast, but ultimately it's a pretty decent speed. We'll go ahead and wait for the gate to open here so you see all the people coming, get an idea of the frame rate then. Kind of hard to control and film at the same time. Again though, this is just basically performance based to give you an idea of how the game's going to run, how this card's going to perform in most games. Like that. Alright, now we're going to get to a big group here, so that'll be a real good test here. Alright, and there's Left 4 Dead on the 5570. Alright, here's the famous Crisis game. Woo. Now, as far as frame rate on this video, not gonna lie, it drops fairly decent. But then again, keep in mind, I'm running the same 1680 by 1050 resolution. And everything is going to be at very high, as you can see. I'm gonna have it custom because I have, you know, map settings and stuff like that that adjust everything. I am getting a little bit of audio lag because of my card. Alright, so there's default. This is what the game recommends me. So we'll go ahead and up it back up all the way, because the recommendations just aren't good enough. So we'll see how high we can push this card. Alright, so there we are back at the 1680 by 1050. And the very high settings. Everything's very high, can't select apply. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is find me a game here. Alright. Okay, we'll go ahead and use this as a reference point. Now, as I said, this is going to lag. This is Crisis at very high resolutions and, you know, max everything. So we'll see how good it runs. Last time I checked, I think I got somewhere in the ballpark of 10 to 15 frames. It wasn't the best. Of course, if you turn the resolution down, say 1024 by 768, you get a really substantial frame rate increase. Alright, so it's loaded here. Give it just a second. Alright, and here we go. Alright, give it a second here to load all down. As you can see, pretty bad frame rates at a resolution that high. 12 frames per second, occasional freezing, jitter, the works. So you're not going to be able to run Crisis max settings. At least not at a resolution this high. Now, of course, if you're comfortable with lower resolutions, you can very easily go in here and drop it down to a more playable level. We'll say 1024 by 768. And notice you do get a pretty good frame rate increase. You get about 3 or 4 frames extra. Not the best, as you can see. Alright, so normal settings for Crisis on this graphics card, you're going to run probably in the medium range. That's really going to be, you know, your ballpark area, because that's going to give you the good crisp resolution. You're going to get decent graphics and a good frame rate. Again, ignore the audio lag. It's my audio card being stupid. And it is a little bit slow on, you know, doing everything and functionality, but we'll go ahead and put it back up to the 1680 by 1050. Alright, so back in HD, medium settings, getting 15 frames per second, 16 average. That is with fraps up. 18, 19. Really all depends, but as far as overall playability, it is certainly playable at that level. So